When I first reviewed the iPhone 11 Pro, I said it was the best smartphone and the best smartphone camera that money can buy. A few weeks now have gone by that I've been using it, and iOS 13.2's public beta has been released, which added Deep Fusion, the much anticipated image processing feature, which is supposed to help with mid to low light photos. We're going to do a deep dive on Deep Fusion, as well as how our impressions have changed over a month of use. So let's get into it. So the green grew on me. I thought I was gonna go buy space gray, but I kept green because it's actually kind of nice. The frosted glass looks really nice still too. Thankfully there's no scratches on the back. There are some light scratches on the front of the display, but that's to be anticipated. The one thing I still can't get quite used to is the 3 camera bumps. There's no aesthetic issue with that for me. Honestly, at this point, it's mostly about cleaning each lens when I need to use it, as opposed to when it was just a single hump, I could just clean it and it'd be fine. I have to go and individually clean each hump, which is a little annoying. The weightiness of this phone is still something that I definitely notice every time I pick it up, but thankfully it's not really an annoying thing, so much as a kind of a satisfying thing when I pick it up and it feels so solid. Though I do have to admit, sometimes I stare off longingly to my Note 10 and wish that it could have been, but I'm ingrained in the Apple ecosystem and that's just a fact. But aside from that, one of the main reasons that I keep the iPhone in my pocket is the camera and that battery life. Battery life on the Pro and Pro Max lead the pack on flagship phones. I can easily get through a full workday, get home 7, 8, 9 o'clock, it's still at 20, 30, sometimes even 40%. Most times I can just go to bed and wake up with the phone at 20 or 30%, which is plenty enough for me to get through my entire commute, get to work, and plug it into the charger without having to trickle charge overnight. Plus, it's so much nicer having the 18-watt fast charger in the box because it can charge this in about 2 hours as opposed to the 5-watt charger, which took about 3 or 3.5 hours on the previous models. But like I said, the main thing keeping this phone in my pocket is the camera. It's the best smartphone camera out, and it's added Deep Fusion with the iOS 13.2 public beta. Real quick before we jump into Deep Fusion, iOS 13.2 adds a couple other quick things like Siri announcements, which allows you to speak your replies to Siri through headphones and carry on a conversation with her via text message with somebody else. There's also a few bug fixes, but most of the things that I saw and had issues with when I first got the phone were mostly cleared up with the 13.1 update. Alright, so here's how Deep Fusion works. As soon as you take out your camera, just like with Smart HDR, it's taking 8 photos before you snap that shutter, and that's when the 9th photo is taken. So of those 8 photos taken, 4 are short exposure photos meant specifically just to capture sharpness and clarity and really freeze that moment. Then the other 4 photos taken are 4 standard exposure frames, which are meant to capture broader details like tone. Then the last one that's taken when you click that shutter button is 1 long exposure frame. Of the 4 standard exposure frames, 3 are then chosen to be melded with the 1 long exposure frame to create a single image input. This is then put through multiple neural networks along with the 1 short exposure frame that has the sharpest details to create 1 single image that has the best details, best tonality on a pixel by pixel basis. So what are the actual results? Well, let's first keep in mind that this is a public beta still. It's not in its final version, but we couldn't tell too much difference in most instances where Deep Fusion should be doing the most work. There was really only one image that we were able to capture that showed a pretty distinct difference between having Deep Fusion and not having it, which showed better textures, better colors, and overall a sharper image. But still, most instances where Deep Fusion should be doing a lot more work, we weren't really able to tell much of a difference. Just a couple quick caveats on how and when that works. On the ultra wide angle lens, it won't work at all, nor will it work on burst mode on the standard lens. When it kicks in on the standard lens, it's usually in what's described as indoor lighting, so anything where the night mode isn't kicking in and anything that's not overly bright already. For the telephoto lens, anything that's abundantly bright will just use Smart HDR, at least until you creep into the slightly darker indoor twilight kind of scene. From there, it'll use Deep Fusion at least until it gets too dark to the point where it'll kick out of the telephoto lens into the regular lens and then either use Deep Fusion or night mode. So that's Deep Fusion. That all aside, night mode still works great. We never really have to tweak anything. We just let it do its automatic thing, which is how we hope Deep Fusion will end up working when the official release is out. But at the end of the day, this is still the best camera on a smartphone right now. But we do have our eyes on that Google Pixel 4 coming very soon. So I'm pretty comfortable standing behind my remarks that the iPhone 11 Pro is the best smartphone and the best smartphone camera that money can buy right now. As we mentioned, the Pixel 4 is coming out in about a week, so we're gonna have some comparisons to really test its mettle there. But the looks can grow on you, the battery is great, it's a great all-around phone. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if you have an iPhone 11 or 11 Pro, let us know how it's holding up for you in the comments below. And as always, check out digitaltrends.com for more tech stories.